and this is the Toolkit with Doc Williams, and we are joined by Danny Lehr. Danny, how are you doing?
Outstanding.
Danny, thank you for joining and doing this experiment with the Toolkit. Before we begin, could you talk about your background?
Absolutely. So my background, in athletics, so I played lots of sports growing up. I played soccer a lot, and then in high school, wrestling was actually my best sport, as well as track and field. So I had some pole vault and threw some shot put and discus there, and so that was fun. But wrestling was by far my best. And then when I got done with that, in college, I started coaching wrestling, and I coached a lot of things. I coached a little track as well. I coached all kinds of stuff, basically whatever they needed someone to help out with. But again, wrestling was kind of the main focus. I did 10 years of that and was actually the head coach for a handful of years, doing that at the high school level. Had some success there, and then began competing in weightlifting and started getting more busier with that. So I quit coaching at that point to focus on kind of like a second athletic career there. So I did some CrossFit competitions and did a lot of weightlifting meets. Ended up lifting in 6 or 7 national meets, finishing top 10 a handful of times, and was on a couple teams that placed that medaled. A couple teams that placed top 3 overall through California Strength.
Very nice. Now, going back a little bit, what made you do the transition from wrestling to weightlifting?
So I started doing CrossFit around 2007. I kind of started doing CrossFit just as a hobby, just working out. And then I was having a lot of fun with it, and then actually ended up, I met a guy who had just opened a CrossFit gym and was looking for a partner in that. So then I got in there early on. He'd been open like less than 6 months or so. So I started doing that, and then it had the cleans and snatches. I remember when I was in high school, my track and field coach had us doing lots of like cleans and power cleans and full snatches and hang snatches and stuff, just as part of our strength conditioning work for shot put and discus. And so I was like that. And so when I started doing CrossFit again, it kind of brought those lifts back around and made it something I was doing on a regular basis and really enjoyed it. And then actually in 2010, there was the CrossFit USA Weightlifting Open, which is held in Colorado Springs. And so I had some encouragement to do that. People said, hey, I was basically I was the strongest in the gym as far as snatch clean jerk, and so like, hey, you should go in there and do this so you have fun with it. And so I did a couple local weightlifting meets just to do a meet before flying halfway across the country to do my first meet. And so did a weightlifting meet in August, another one in September, and in October flew up to Colorado Springs to compete in that USA Weightlifting CrossFit Open.
And how did it go? What was your experience when you went there?
It was fun, man. I think I ended up, I don't remember what I ended up placing. I think I got 5th. Might have got 5th of that event. So it was fun, Up until then, I'd done, it was kind of funny, the 2 local meets on 6 for 6 in those first 2 meets, and then go to Colorado Springs and miss my opener. And I was like, oh, shit. I don't know what to do now. I've never missed a lifting competition before. So that was kind of fun. That was a fun experience. And the way that was set up too is you did a weightlifting meet, like full on sanctioned weightlifting meet, and then as soon as your session was done, there's a 10-minute break, and then there's one CrossFit style workout. And so also it was like a 10-minute AMRAP that had some cleans, full cleans, pull-ups, and double unders. And I remember my kind of theory was, people kept talking about elevation, but my theory was I can't breathe when I do that shit at sea level, so what's the difference? And so I went out hard, and I figured eventually I'll find the wall, and then at that point the goal was just to do it anyway, right? And that didn't work. I was winning until like minute 8, and then over the course of the last 2 minutes, screeching halt might be a little bit of hyperbole, but it wasn't far from it. It was definitely a slowed pace, and I ended up not winning my heat there. But it was fun. It was a good experience. Tell you what, man, I couldn't. When I was done, I couldn't breathe again. Normally, if I was taking me, I'm not kidding you, I bet it took me over half an hour until I could breathe normal, and probably about 2 hours until I felt right again. just from the thin air and going so hard and just done. Funny thing, I was like, man, I'm going to do a weightlifting meet before I go halfway across the country to do one. But I'd never done a CrossFit competition before. But I just figured, like, whatever, like, I work out every day. What's the difference? Well, I found the difference.
And now, was there anyone else there that you saw them like just as much agony?
Oh, dude, everybody's hurting. I remember, so I'd actually met Gary Barron and Wes Hutchinson. They're from CrossFit Rockland. And so CrossFit Rockland, they'd gone to the games as a team a couple of years. They actually finished top 10 in the games a year or two after this. Anyway, so I didn't know these guys, but I think I had seen them once or something like that. But we were on the plane out there together, started bullshitting. Turns out, whatever, these cool guys were friends, whatever, so they got a rental car, and they insisted that I rode around with them in the rental car to their hotel, and then kind of made friends with them there. And then they got me when they went to go get food at the store. They took me with them, and basically, we just became friends that weekend. And so they had a competition experience. And I remember Gary, he's lighter, so he's in the weight class. So he went the day before I did. And I remember during the workout, 2 or 3 rounds in, him saying, he's like, I'm going too fast. And I didn't get it. I was like, going too fast. I thought the goal was to win, And anyway, then the next day I quickly understood what he meant.
Man, now you said that was in 2010?
That was 2010. So then after that, I really liked the weightlifting meets. I had fun with the CrossFit competition too. I did, a handful of CrossFit competitions over the next couple of years, and I did starting cutting weightlifting meets. I did, I don't even know, between 4 and 6 weightlifting meets basically a year after that. So between 2010 and 2015, so between August of 2010 and 2015, I did 25 weightlifting meets.
Wow.
And probably 6 or 7 CrossFit competitions as well.
Why did you put the number so high for as many meets as you were going to?
Why did I do so many?
Yeah.
Well, I was just having fun, man. I just want to get better. And so the simple facts I know from coaching wrestling and other stuff, there's absolutely no substitute for experience. And competition counts as that. People think, what they do in the gym, it's like, oh, I'll just show up and fuck around in this competition and put up the same numbers, but that is not the way it works. It's a whole different animal. You're in the gym, you can't mimic what it's like to compete. And then, the funny thing is these local meets, and then start qualifying for national meets. So then you go and you fly across the country, and that's a whole other thing. You can do local meets you can do 20 local meets, and you go to your first national meet, and it's going to throw you off. Just like I'm sure I haven't had this experience, but I'm sure national meet to international is a whole other animal too, It's you're there, you have to travel, and you get there, and you're staying in a hotel, and making weight is weird because you're not at home, you're on the road, so making weight on the road is hard because if you eat out, all the food's sodium loaded, and you don't have a kitchen, so you can't really cook your meals, and it's just a whole other thing. To be honest though, after doing whatever it is, six or so national meets, I actually prefer national meets over local meets, not just because they're more fun, there's bigger crowds, it's more, matters more. It's not even just the competition. For me, it's easier to perform. It's easier to eat the right way. It's easier, once you learn how to do it, it's easier to stay on your feet. It's easier to control your weight. If I know I'm lifting tomorrow or whatever, if I know I'm lifting on Sunday, Saturday, I know what I need to do. There's no responsibilities. When you're at home, you have shit you have to do. When you're traveling like that, it's you're lifting next day. It's basically you got to make it to the training hall to work out the day before, and then that's about it. It's go sit in your room, relax, or day of. It's I know I'm waiting at a certain time. I know what I need to do before then. Stay in the room, sleep in as late as you can. Get up, go get a little bit of breakfast, whatever you can afford with your weight, and go back to your room and try and take another nap, yeah. When you're at home, you don't really have the luxury of doing those things.
Yeah. Now, do you ever, two things. Did you compete in wrestling or only coach?
Did I what? Compete in wrestling or only coach?
Did you?
I wrestled all through high school. I did not wrestle in college, but I wrestled all through high school. And then I had some success there, and then I coached as well.
Was that easier to make the transition, like making weight for wrestling when you went into weightlifting?
Yeah, so it's very different. The way you make weight is very different because wrestling, the guy you're wrestling, he's probably cutting weight too. You know what I mean? So you don't even really worry about like complete disregard for how you feel. You know what I mean? Like it does not matter how you feel because wrestling's a grind. Like obviously you want to be performing, at your highest, but like what? Like you're tired, like just nut it up, and like this other dude's tired too. Like suck it up and just go. Weightlifting, like the bar doesn't give a shit what you've been doing. Like if it weighs 170 kilos, it weighs 170 kilos if you cut 5 kilos or not. Like the bar weighs the same. The bar's not losing weight. So how you cut that weight's different. Wrestling, it's all like just don't eat and run, sweat it out. Like weightlifting, you can't do that. Like the worst thing you could do would be to run 10 miles the day you compete to get your weight down. So, anyway, for weightlifting, it's much more like a hyperhydrate and diet type thing. Also, wrestling, you make weight, twice a week. You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes 2 days in a row. So that's a different animal too. Whereas like weightlifting, it's like you got to meet. Even if you have to meet once a month, it's like all right, like you just kind of the week leading up to it, kind of cut some calories and get your weight down a little bit over the course of a week through diet, and then just then if you have a 1 or 2 kilos left, you can just kind of hyperhydrate and get that off. Whereas wrestling, it's like if you're making weight 2 or 3 times in a week, it's like you make weight. Well, then if you eat and stuff right after that, you're right back up. So you don't really have the luxury of getting it down over time.
That makes sense. For your career weightlifting, what was were you trying to get to a certain weight class, or were you like, hey, if I feel good at this weight, I'm just going to stay here?
Yeah, so I put my weight a little bit. I would say with my experience in wrestling, it has made handling my weight a lot easier. As far as like, I'm 100% confident I can get my weight down or up really whenever I want to or need to, But so yeah, as far as that goes, I mean, I've always been pretty close to right at 94 kilos, and so it makes sense to do that. I'm too tall to really go down, and I don't want to go up. I just have to get soft. But if I gain too much weight, I feel like I move slower and clunky.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's kind of, so 94 is just kind of where I've been sitting. Like 105 is like 230 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there and pretty close to there, but only like brief periods, like when gaining weight. Like say I'm like on the road for a couple of weeks or something, like, or just kind of fucking around. But like it's never maintained anywhere close to that. Like 220 to just over 220, 225, like the most I've ever weighed, and those just in like for little short periods of time.
Yeah.
So I did adjust my weight at one point. I was, cause if I like felt lean and felt like, if I wanted to be as lean as I wanted to be, I would be like 203, like 202 to 205, but then I wouldn't feel strong. So if I pushed my weight up to over 210, then I would feel strong, but I wouldn't feel as fast. And, so I kind of like that 206.8 is what 94 is, 207.
Mm-hmm.
So what the goal was to train at like 210, but feel like I could move like I do when I'm like 204, 205. So I could work with the guys from RP Strength, and they put me on like a game template. So I pushed my weight up, and I actually got to like 220. They had me push it up to 220, and I had to maintain it there for about 3 weeks, and then slowly cut it back down. And ever since doing that, I've been a lot closer to 210, but have been like I was lean mass. Like at 210, I was at the same body fat content as I was before at like 207 or so. That was kind of a change I made. That was just about a couple pounds, but I haven't moved much more than say 10 pounds either direction.
Makes sense.
And so that might sound like a lot, but like for a guy that weighs over 200 pounds, like 10 pounds really isn't that significant. I mean that's like what 5% of your body weight,
Yeah, that sounds right. So, yeah, that's right. I had to do some math. Yeah. Took out a calculator for a second. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we were talking about changing your body weight, like, less than 5%. Like, that's really not that much.
Yeah.
Grand scheme of things.
Now you mentioned being with Cal Strength.
Dude, I got the flu. And lost 17 pounds in 8 hours one time.
Oh, man.
just all water weight.
Oh.
But still, that's funny.
You weren't competing the next day, were you?
What's that?
Were you competing the next day with that thing?
No, that was actually that was like in the end of like the 7-day road trip. We got like a 3-hour seminar every night for 7 nights in a row, and after the and like slept in an RV, like living like assholes, you know. Like teach a seminar, go to dinner, sleep in the RV for 5 hours, and get up and drive 10 hours the next day. So I've done like 7 days. My immune system wasn't all that hot. I caught the flu somewhere along the way, and just like every half an hour, it was bad news for like 8 hours straight, and I lost 17 pounds that night.
How was everyone else in the RV with you? Were they concerned? Were they like, he'll get over it?
Oh, they thought I was going to die. They all thought I was going to die. So we were actually, that was the very end of the trip, and we were staying in Duke's apartment, but you'd go into school at Ole Miss, so it was like a college apartment. So it's like they're having like this Friday night, like they're all playing like beer pong and partying, and I'm like just passed out in this dude's bedroom, like crawling to the bathroom and just like barfing my guts out, and then like sleeping on the bathroom floor. It was gnarly. It was like the worst 8 hours of my life, probably.
We're gonna have to circle back to that story in a second.
Dude.
So before you got to that night, you mentioned that you were at Cal Strength for a little while, or you're still there. Did you start your weightlifting career there, or did you start somewhere else and then migrate over to Cal Strength?
Yeah, so my first couple years, or my first couple meets, I'll say, I was just lifting. So I started in 2010. I did a meet in August and September, and in the area I'm at, Cal Strength's pretty close, like an hour away, and then Sacramento has hassle-free weightlifting, and they're a big club. They actually have a club in Sacramento and in San Francisco. So there's like a local meet, like probably once a month around here in the PWA, Pacific Coast Association. So it's like if you want to do some meets, like you just look at the calendar, you just pick them. You can do a weightlifting meet literally like once a month around here. So, anyway, so I was doing that. I did like August, September, October, and then I kind of took a couple months off. Like January, there was a Penlay seminar because Glenn Penlay was the coach at California Strength. So I go out for the Penlay seminar at Cal Strength, and the Cal Strength guys, John North and Donnie Shanklin, Kevin Cornell, and all those guys were there doing helping out with seminar. And actually Sean Rigsby, who's now a pretty high-level national lifter, I think got silver medal at American Open last year. You know, he was there. He was just a rugby dude. He was just a rugby guy. He was doing some CrossFit and thought the weightlifting thing sounded fun. I was just basically a CrossFitter who'd done a few meets and wanted to do more weightlifting stuff, so I was having fun with it. And so that was kind of fun. I met Sean there. We were both just kind of starting. Anyway, and then afterwards, John North kind of told me, like, hey, man, like, you really do have a lot of potential. You interested in doing this? And like, I know you've done a few meets because I saw they lifted up those other meets I was at, and I was like, yeah, man, I'm interested in some more meets. And so I actually signed up for some PT sessions with him. So I bought like 10 personal training sessions with John, and I would drive a little over an hour to go out to Cal Strength to train with John on like Sunday mornings. And I did that for like a couple months in a row, like every Sunday morning, and he would just beat my ass down for like 3 hours because he saw potential in me. So even though I just paid for whatever a session, he would spend like three or 4 hours with me each session, just tearing me apart. Because he thought for him it was like worth. And then after those sessions, I think he just like quit charging me. He's like, just keep coming in. So I was getting better and doing meets and stuff. So I was doing that, and then I would train. He's like, hey, come Friday night and train with the team. And Coach Penley was okay with that. So I would basically go out there Friday nights and train with the team, and then I'd come back on Sunday to train under John, and the rest of the time I was kind of training on my own. John would give me workouts to do and stuff. And then and John actually give a lot of credit to him. He said at one point in 2011, because I was like, that was like the year after I did that seminar. He's like, all right, after like one session with me, he goes, okay, this is going to happen. Here's your goals. 2011, this year, you're going to qualify for, you're going to go to the American Open, and you're going to lift, you're just going to have fun. The next year, you're going to go to Nationals, and you're going to lift, and you're just going to have fun. Then you're going to go back to the American Open, you're going to place top 10. Then we're going to go back to Nationals, you're going to place top 10. So he laid out that plan for me right there on the spot after watching me lift one day. I said, all right, man. And then, so I was training with the team a little, training with Johnson. I qualified 2011 American Open. I go and I lift, and after I lifted, I see Glenn, and Glenn helped, coach me in the back and everything. And he said, "Hey man, how come you're lifting as like unanimous lift or whatever, unaffiliated. Why don't you lift for Cal Strength? And I was like, well, like, no one told me to. Like, I'm just lifting as unaffiliated because no one, like, I'm not on the Cal Strength team. Like, I just come out there and train. Like, I want to step on toes, And he's like, dude, like, you would have scored points for us. You can help us win. I'll talk to Dave Spitz, who's the owner of Cal Strength. So I'll talk to Dave when we get back. We'll talk about getting you on the Cal Strength team. You train with the team all the time anyway. Why not score points at these big meets? He's like, all right, man. Like, that'd be really cool. So anyway, we got back, talked to Dave. Dave was in. So then they added me on the Cal Strength team, which the fun part of that is then also that then basically how it kind of works with Cal Strength is if you're on the team, they take care of you. They pay all your travel and everything. So after that, then, they take care of stuff. Then it's like, all right, if there's a big national coming up, a couple of weeks beforehand, you basically get an email that has your itinerary. All right, this is when your flight's leaving. Like they book all your flights and your hotel and get rental cars, take care of everyone, and pay for your food and all that type of stuff. So
That's awesome.
Sounds cool. Yeah.
And do you guys pretty much, how's the atmosphere when you guys are training for American Open and Nationals? So what is it like being at Cal Strength?
Well, that's the thing about Cal Strength. Environment is so big, and that's the thing is to me, it was never, I don't know how to say this, like, I never looked at American Open or Nationals like, or maybe the first time I went, it was like a big thing. But like for me, it was like when you're training Cal Strength, like that's just what you do. Like everybody's going. Like that year, 2011, I think it was, John North and Donnie Schenkel, they both got gold medals at Nationals. So it's like you're training with these guys. Like you look good. Like those guys both are the current national champs. And, and then like. And the guys like Kevin, who he was top 10. Rob was just starting. And Tom Stroka just moved out there. Earl Lindsey's out there. Like, so you look around and it's like, you're surrounded by people who are current national champions and who are like going for American records or snatching the American record in training. Like John would snatch the American record in practice. Donnie Schenkel would snatch the American record in practice, So it's like you see these things, like it's just what's expected. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the thing is like when people talk about Nationals, American Open, like it's this big, like you put on a pedestal, it's like, yeah, that's cool, like it is a cool thing, but it's like out of Cal Strength, it's expected,
mm-hmm. And that probably plays huge dividends for your mental edge for the competition as well. If this is just the norm.
That's the thing, man. It's like, did you qualify for nationals? It's like, yeah, like I'm sure, like, you know what I mean? Like yeah, everyone on our team does. Like that's kind of how it goes. Or it's like, I almost got the total. People would ask, do you? Like, just do the new, they raise the totals. And Critton's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what the national qualifying totals are. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I don't know what I need. I don't know what I need to get them because, like, they're already there. And it's not that and I was never like the best lifter, like but it was just on Cal Strength good enough, So it's that thing. It's like, I know I have a qualifying total for nationals because I lifted last year. Like your total from last year's nationals will qualify me this year. You know what I mean? It's like, and then you're doing local meets in the meantime anyway. But it's just what's expected of you in that environment.
That's excellent. That's awesome.
Everybody else is doing it. Why not me?
Yeah, that's great. Now but you know what? That's a great attitude because if I was there, I'd be like, well, you know what? Let me ask you something. Does everyone have the same kind of mindset of that, or do some people get crushed by everyone's getting to this level? I'm not sure if I can get there.
Well, those people don't laugh. California Strength has never been for soft people. Like,
yeah,
it's a little more laid back now, but like especially in those days, like it's very encouragement's an interesting thing out there, and so it takes certain type of people. Like people move out and they can't hack in and leave. That happens all the time. Like people move, like shut down, like quit their jobs, move out. I'm gonna do this, and then 3 months later they move back home. because it wasn't always the most encouraging or isn't always the most encouraging atmosphere, but it is. Everybody wants everyone to succeed, but how people get there is different. Like if you need someone to glad hand you and pat your ass the entire way, it's not going to work. If you can take a little bit of abuse but knowing that everybody there wants you to be better, then you're going to be just fine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So motivational structure like this it would be entirely commonplace. Spencer Mormon's out there. say I miss a lift, right? Like I go for a clean and I can't stand. I get pinned under a clean. When I go pull in again, same thing. I rack and I can't stand up to it. So I'm going to go for a third time. This type of shit happens. So Spencer goes, Danny, what are you doing? Quit wasting your time. You're not strong enough. You're not good. That's what's going on. And same thing, And then John like just shut it down. Like that type of thing, right? Like, so if you're kind of mentally weak or just not mentally strong, like those types of things get through to you in the wrong way, Whereas if you're motivated and those are your teammates, they want you to do it, but at that time they're sitting there going like, you're not going to make it. You're just not strong enough. It's not just stop on your head. What are you doing? Type thing, right? Like you gotta use that to motivate you the right way. If you look at it like, fuck you guys, I'm going to do this, then it's great. It's a great motivating thing.
Now, did you ever use that motivation that day, or do you like, you know what, I'm just going to come back tomorrow?
No, that's right then. Like, it's right. Like, I'm approaching the bar, and they're telling me, like, stop, you're not strong enough, what are you doing? Quit wasting your time. Like, you use that right then. You know what I mean? Like, that is a now thing,
Yeah.
So, and some people can't do that, like, or can't handle that. It's just different personalities, I remember training with Charlie Zamora, my business partner, Captain Keeler. We were somewhere and he missed a lift or something, went to do it again, and I started on him like that. We only trained together a handful of times, and so I started ripping his ass. Charlie, what the fuck are you doing? Wasting your time. Blah, 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 right? And I saw he just crumbled right in front of me. Like I just saw his shoulders drop and his head drop, and he grabbed the bar and the most pathetic pull I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, okay, right, make a note of that. That doesn't work with him.
So using it from your tool case at the right time with the right kind of people.
That's it. It's got to be someone who can use that the right way.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Now.
So that's very much it. But it's like when that's going on in training, that everyone wants the best for you. That's just a different way of motivating people.
Yeah. Now let me ask you something. Because you're on this line, you're in the weightlifting world, but also in CrossFit. How did that help you, or did you have to change an approach when you were shifting back and forth when you were in CrossFit Excel?
Well, if I'm coaching people at my gym, it's different because that's the regular guy. They're in their training. They're in there just trying to look good naked, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's much more of a positive environment there. But for me, that kind of motivation works because, or I didn't mind it because wrestling's the same type of thing, man. Like wrestling is, you get different coaches, they coach different styles, different kids, the different things work for. But by and large, like there's no soft shit. Like if someone's weak or mentally weak or they can't handle that, they're not gonna make it through a wrestling season. You get like 50% attrition. Every wrestling team in the country has about 50% of the kids that start the season finish it. So you kind of have to be mentally tough, and because it's hard. And like here's the thing about wrestling that's different from every other sport. Actually, weights is kind of similar. Because like if you want to be good, like it hurts. Like it physically hurts. It's not like you're trying to run and like you're just tired. It's like no, like shit hurts. Like I might have broken my wrist. I don't know, but it's like win anyway. Like that's not an excuse to lose. And so that's the type of thing, and that's that kind of mental toughness and strength. That's what that's what drives people. So knowing your environment and knowing who you're kind of talking to, it's important. So there could be some time and places for that in like a general CrossFit setting, but not usually with like general pop. I'm not coaching my mom 30 classes at the gym and telling somebody that you can't do something.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Or
Just
tough
the
love.
exact opposite. It's like you can do this, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you something. Uh, from this,
It's a difference. Sorry to cut you off. It's the difference between whatever they're thinking mentally. You need to tell them the opposite, right? So it's like if somebody's like going to approach a bar and they may not have supreme confidence, that's when you tell them like, "Let's go. You can do this," right? Or if someone's like going for it again and they think they can do it, but you know they need a little extra push, telling them they can't will probably drive them to try harder, right?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Now, with that, you started. You were involved with CrossFit Excel starting in 2007, correct?
Correct.
And then more weightlifting.
2008 CrossFit Excel Open. I started in CrossFit in 2007.
Gotcha.
2008 we started CrossFit Excel.
Gotcha. And then weightlifting in 2010, and then with Cal Strength in 2011.
Correct.
Okay. So going from that, tell me how the maturation process started getting to caffeine and kilos then. When did that start and how did that form?
So in 2013, I've been listed for Cal Strength for a couple of years. I've been listed for national meets. Actually, that plan John laid out for me actually happened to a T. 2000, pretty much anyway. So 2011 I lifted, and then 2012 American Open I placed fifth. 2013 Nationals I placed seventh. So it's like it all kind of went in that go and compete, have fun, and then go and compete and play top 10. Anyway, so that all kind of went down. And so anyway, so it was right around that time, 2013, I got a call from Charlie Zamora, and I knew him just from like around, like we had, at a local competition that I had some people competing in. I was there, some guys from my gym were competing with whatever, and he was there, and we're kind of bullshitting, and he had done a few weightlifting meets, so I'd seen him at a few different weightlifting meets and stuff, but it was just kind of acquaintances. So he called me out of nowhere. I think he called someone else to get my number or something, and he's like, "Hey man, what? I got an idea." And so his idea was he wanted to get like every U.S. Olympian together and host a weightlifting meet or a weightlifting clinic. And this basically what it turned into was he wanted to host the biggest weightlifting meet in the country and give away cash prizes. So, or he just wanted to host a weightlifting meet. And I was like, well, how do we get the top lifters there? Well, we get a cash prize. Because nobody at that time, just a couple of years ago, nobody was really giving out cash prize. The Arnold paid cash prize, but it was relatively small still. And I said, okay, well, how much money do we have to give away to have the biggest cash purse in the country? And it was not a lot of money. And so, all right, well, how do we do this, So basically that's what turned into Captain Keel's Invitational in 2013. And then we said, well, we should have some stuff to sell there. And so we made some shirts, and it's like a short version of it. So some shirts made and some coffee. And then it was like the whole thing of like, well, why just sell T-shirts? It's Caffeine and Kilos about lifting weights and drinking coffee. We should make our own coffee. So we contacted some local coffee roasters and kind of gave them the idea we were looking for of a stronger, higher caffeine coffee, but it was still, tasted good. It was all natural. So we had hooked up with Roaster Dave and did that. And so basically then that first Captain Keel's Invitational, we launched the company. So we held that competition, had a CrossFit style competition and a weightlifting competition. We gave it cash prizes, and we sold some shirts and stuff there, and got a bunch of local gyms out there. And so then they got familiar with the brand and kind of went from there.
That's pretty wow. So
and then Dean Sidoris is our third partner. That was kind of our part. So we had the one phone call about a competition. Like 2 days later, he called me. He's like, "Hey man," like he made a shirt, like a fake shirt design, just in my life. It had a coffee mug and a guy with some weights. And then he's like, "Dude, I want to make shirts." I know this guy Dean. Dean like understands fashion. At the time, Dean had like an underground clothing brand called Modern Example, and Dean was totally in. So Dean just completely dropped Modern Example, quit doing anything with it, and got on board with us at C&K. And then the three of us basically founded the company and went from there.
Wow. And just briefly expanding from that, what do you think caused like the traction? Do you think it was that initial competition? People just loved that grassroots feel, and the buzz was there, or what was that turning point with that with traction?
I think it was like a good time. Timing always helps, and then also the hosting the competition as like a launch, was good because then you get people in there, and so then also it's like when you go to when you want to say you start a new brand or start a new product, you want to advertise it or market it. If you just go to all these random gyms and say, hey, we're starting this company, they're going to tell you go fuck yourself,
Yeah.
Whereas if you are hosting competition, they want people to compete in this competition. So what it allowed us to do is actually go and post on people's Facebook walls, like, hey, we got this competition coming up, the Captain Keels Invitational. Come hang out, come support it, So they would reshare that and they would post it at their gym and get people to go to it. So it's actually a way for us to kind of get our names our name of the company into these gyms, and not, without being like overly aggressive, but actually offering them something like, here's a competition, you can come compete in, And then additionally, just with some connections we had, Charlie's friend with Mark Bell, and so Mark Bell was on board right away and helped us support it there. I was good friends with John. John and I, he started coaching me and kind of started this whole thing. We've been pretty close ever since then. So John was actually at Pan Am's in like Ecuador or something. And so I actually called his wife and I was like, hey, Jess, what do you think of this idea? Like, I think John would be on board. She's like, oh, John definitely on board. So I didn't even ask him. We announced that John was a part of Captain Kilos. He didn't even know it yet. and then when he came back from Guatemala or Ecuador or wherever Pan Am's was that year, I was like, hey, John, by the way, I announced that you're part of Captain Kilos. He was like, all right, sounds great. He's like, whatever you need, man. So then he started pushing it. And so it was just kind of some connections we had, in the community. And at the time, Charlie was going out to NorCal CrossFit and training with them, once a month or so. So then when he went out there and took some shirts and stuff, and they were all big supporters. And so that was kind of it too. Is like our different friends in the community really helped us out early on, kind of get the word out.
Excellent. Well, just a few more questions for you, if you just have about 5 minutes.
Yep.
But when you're looking back at this, what important lessons did you learn as Caffeine and Kilos expanded?
Oh, man. Well, lesson I learned, one is that, I don't know, as Caffeine and Kilos expanded, I'm big on business is treating people the right way. So Captain Kills expanded, what I kind of learned is using sounds bad, but like using your friends or leveraging your connections to like launch something, grow something is okay as long as you treat them the right way. So it's like when we started our athletes in the weightlifting world too, we didn't have anything to pay them. We would just make sure we got them gear. But it was a symbiotic relationship. We would post about them, which would then help grow their popularity. They would post about us, which grow our popularity. So you get people who are CrossFitters who maybe like Noah Olson, but they go to us when they get exposed to weightlifters such as like John North or such as Ian Wilson. And then you get guys who are weightlifters or people who like John or Ian or D'Angelo, and then they get exposed and they see a video of Noah Olson snatching whatever, 285 pounds, and that's something they can relate to or whatever, So, so that was kind of thing. It was really a symbiotic relationship of they would help grow the company, and the company would help grow their personal brand. And that was all good. And then as the company continued to grow, we actually are able now to and then we started offering prizes, monetary prizes based on performance. So if they got first place at nationals or, beat an American record or did well at regionals or won the games or was placed in the games or won a workout or whatever, we would pay for that performance. And then now we are able to pay a little bit for some social media posting as well. The idea there is when we started, we didn't have any money and they knew that. But they understood that we could help them other ways, Mm-hmm. And then as we grew, we would continue to find more ways to help people. So I think a big part of growing business is just treating people the right way.
Yeah, that's excellent. And have you learned anything about?
Life's too short to put time and energy into a bunch of assholes. You know what I mean? And everybody understands that. So you want to treat people the right way and treat people the way you want to be treated, and you're going to have a lot more success that way.
That's excellent. Did you learn anything about yourself more when you entered this business?
Yeah, so I used to teach PE. I taught PE for 8 years. I loved every day of it. And what I found as I do more business stuff and out teaching more is that what I really like to do, it's kind of funny, I've realized this, is that, and I was actually on track with this before, but man, I just want to help people. You know, I like helping people. I like supporting things. I like doing stuff like that. So I learned that about myself more, which is funny. When I was teaching PE, obviously I was helping people. But one thing that I really am proud of with Caffeine Kilos, something we've been able to do, is donate to things like USA Weightlifting. Like USA Weightlifting wanted to, a couple years ago, they were buying new warm-up platforms for the back room. And so they're trying to raise some money to help offset some of the costs of those new warm-up platforms. So they sent out an email to everyone who's a member of USA Weightlifting and said, hey, we're going to put these 4x6-inch plaques on these warm-up platforms in the back room. Maybe commemorate somebody. Maybe say so-and-so's a great coach or so-and-so's a great lifter or whatever you want to do, or the name of your barbell club or whatever. You put anything on this plaque you want. And, you know, whatever it's, I don't remember how much they won, $500 or something like that. And we'll put it on the platform, and it'll be in the warm-up room of every national meet. You know, Nationals, American Open, Junior Nationals, Youth Nationals, whatever, all this stuff. And so does anybody want in on this? So we called them. We said, hey, you know, how many are left? And they're like, all of them. Nobody bought them. Nobody didn't sell one.
Oh.
So we said, okay, well, we'll take them. You know, and so as a company, we bought them all. And so that was, and what it was, and then they said, okay, what do you want on there? Like, man, just put like Caffeine Kilos, proud supporter of USA Weightlifting. That's it. You know, like we don't need this big advertisement on it. Like, put the company name, but then put USA Weightlifting on there. Like that's what it is. That's who they're for. You know. So anyway, so we were able to purchase all of them. So that was really cool because one of those things where, you know, they were looking off to their cost somehow, and they had this idea, and it was a good idea, but just kind of no one took them up on it. So it's like, you know what, this is something we can help with. So it's kind of a way for us to donate money to USA Weightlifting, but to do it in a good way, not just here's a check, but it's a tangible thing. Like you want money to offset the warm-up platforms, here you go, you know? And I would rather do something like that than just write them a random check and have them use it for whatever. That's something that actually helps the athletes. I know from lifting national meets, the warm-up room, the platforms in the warm-up room weren't always up to par, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, cool, you're getting platforms. That's going to actually help the athletes. That's something that's cool. It's going to help you with the weightlifting. It's going to help the athletes. So we did that. And then actually just this last year, now those things we used a couple of years, they got pretty beat up after a couple of years of use like that. So then they just bought new ones, and they ran the promotion again. Said, all right, you know, let's do this. And I just said, hey, can we just buy them all again? And I said, sure. So we were able to do that again. So that's something that's really cool. You know, it's not just helping people on a micro level, but it's helping people and organizations on a macro level as well. So that's something that's really cool. I kind of learned about myself.
That's excellent.
I just want to help, man.
And it shows too. I think everything that you guys do, it expands to help, like you mentioned, and that goes right into that last point. The lifting fix, the newest thing that you've been doing for the last almost 2 years or a year and a half? How long has it been?
It's been a year. It's been about 1 year, yeah.
And was that also your desire, just to help people with their common problems? How did that transpire?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So my wife actually she gets some credit. She told me, she said, "No, you have to write some blog posts. You should write a blog post, more for the gym." I was like, all right. And then everyone was doing something wrong. So instead of correcting 100 people, I thought I would just do one and then write about it. So I took a before and after picture, and then I was thinking about writing about it, and that sounded like homework. Like I haven't really written more than a couple paragraphs since I got my master's degree, so I didn't really want to do that. So I was like, all right, well, you know what I can do is I can talk. And so like, here, hold my phone, someone videotaped it, and I just had him video just basically what I was going to write. And had him, before and after, and kind of went through it. And then I finished it, and I said, man, now I don't know what to do with it because it didn't really fit on the gym website. Like, it wasn't really, it was more broad than just for my gym, you know? And then Captain and Keels at the time didn't really fit there either because at the time we didn't have a lot of content on the website. It was just more like just the store. And so I didn't really know what to do with it. So I kind of started DannyLehr.com and put it up there because I didn't know where else to put it. And then I said, yeah, I'm going to do these once a week. So I started recording once a week and posting once a week. And then over time, I just kind of, over a couple of weeks, I just kind of realized, well, maybe the Lifting Fix kind of came with the name and liked it. And so I got that website and moved them all over there and started posting there. But yeah, the original idea was just like, I've been lucky enough to be coached by some of the best coaches in the country and really some of the best coaches in the world now, with, you know, started with John North and Glenn Penley and Dave Spitz from Cal Strength directly. And then, you know, I learned a ton from Glenn, learned a ton from Dave, you know. John, like I said, started me off. Like, that was a great experience. And then over the time, I got my weightlifting coaching course. I did under Kyle Pierce, who's a high-level coach. And then with Kathleen Keels, I travel around now. Went down and saw Sean Waxman and stayed with him for a week and then trained under him for a couple of days. So he watched every lift I did for 2 or 3 days and corrected me, and went down to Texas Barbell with Ursula, who at the time, she was the only female level 5 international coach in the United States, you know? And so went down and trained under her. She watched every single lift I did for 2 or 3 days, you know, and corrected me along the way. And then Alexei Taratsi is the 2012 Olympic champion. Him and his coach, Sergey Putsov, came out to Cal Strength for a couple of weeks and then actually stayed at the Captain and Keels house during the CrossFit Games. And so I managed to get coached by them and kind of talked to them a little about lifting and learn the way that they coach the lifts, the way they do it, you know. So, you know, and like I said, they're from the Ukraine. The guy's Olympic champ. So I've had these opportunities to be coached by these people. So you learn things. You learn these different drills and you learn different ways to fix mistakes, you know. And so all these people, like a lot of people are just kind of looking for ways to change things. I think try to change too much. So I really believe in, like, you find that the one thing that'll make the biggest difference, and then that's the one thing you change. You can't work on changing 3 things. You just fix one thing at a time. That's the idea behind the lifting fixes, is what one drill will make the biggest difference in their lifts. And so I just take all the knowledge I've accumulated and learned from all these different experiences and all these different coaches I've trained under, and I can use those to fix little mistakes in people's lifts.
That's excellent. And that reception back, what's the reception been like to you after giving this knowledge out for free to help people?
So I've been doing it for a little under a year now. I think I've done 48. I think I've done 48 lifting fixes. So just a month shy of a year. It's great. Like, it's grown now over that time. And really it's pretty minimal. Like, I post a video once a week, and then sometimes in the middle of the week I'll post a little meme or a little, you know, like, little snippet of something, or but pretty much, like, mainly it's just been once a week, post a video on Instagram, and then on YouTube, and then cut up a 15-second version to post on Instagram, and the videos are only 1 to 2 minutes long, which of course my phone. So in that time, I have about 8,000 followers on Instagram. On a mailing list, I have about 1,000. It's like 850 or so. You know, subscribers on the email list, and that's growing. That grows every day. People sign up, so every time I post a fix, they get an email with a link to it. So it's actually really cool to kind of see this growth happening. And I think it's like, I don't even know. You know, it's over 500. It might be close to 800 YouTube subscribers as well. So it's just kind of like this following that's come up just from posting these videos once a week, you know. And so I get a ton of positive feedback on that.
Excellent. And the last thing I would like to ask, where do you see your goals with the lifting fix or your next projects?
You know, I'm not really entirely certain. As far as next projects goes, I don't really have too much coming down the pike right now. Because I like to helping people, I'd like to help people, like athletes, monetize themselves, so when they're done competing, they have a way to make money. I'd like to help with that. Mm-hmm. And then also, as far as a lifting fix, I'm not entirely sure. I have a series of videos that are made professionally that I'd like to maybe put together in a DVD, and be able to get that out there. That's something people can not just like fixes, but actually they could watch and learn from scratch, and they could actually use that information to teach other people. So that'd be really cool to kind of get that reach out there a little more.
Excellent. And I lied to you. One last thing: surveys. Has surveys been helpful to try to figure out your market and your audience?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've sent a couple surveys out for the listing fix to get some feedback there. And actually, anytime anyone signs up on an email, the first welcome email they get is, hey, thanks for signing up. If you do a few things for me, like basically follow me on Instagram if you don't, like on Facebook, and then send me an email and let me know what's one thing I can do to help you out. So that's a little mini survey that every single person signs up gets. I get some responses to those, maybe one response a week on those. So it's like that's a constant flow of info telling me kind of what people want, and I really appreciate that, how it can help them. And then additionally through Captain Kilos, we send surveys as well, a little more formal. So everybody signs up on an email list there to get like product release updates. They get a link to a survey. It's kind of like how often do you train, how many days a week, what do you do? Do you do CrossFit, weightlifting, powerlifting, or something else? What do you do pre-workout? Do you drink coffee? Do you do pre-workout supplement, whatever? It's kind of a series of really basic questions, just like 3 or 4 questions. But by answering those, it kind of helps us out. We can kind of get real overview kind of what our market is, who's following us, what they need, and how can we help them? Like what products can we make or what can we do to kind of help these people out further?
Excellent. So it's once again, it's helping your audience out foremost, and all these other things just kind of get added to you later on. That's excellent.
Help me help you.
Yep. Excellent.
Jerry Maguire.
Yep. Danny, we appreciate you taking the time. Thank you for telling your story, and I think it's going to help the audience as we move forward with the toolkit and to really getting to know you. So thank you for your time.
Absolutely, man. It's been fun. Hey, who doesn't like talking about themselves for an hour?
Exactly.
It's easy. I like these tests because I know every answer.
Yeah, if you were stalling out, I'd be like, I don't know about you. But thanks again, Danny. Appreciate it.
All right, no problem. Thanks, Doc.